Alright, so today we're finally taking a stab of reviewing the newbie drone Lionbee long-range FPV drone. So just to give you a recap of what this is, yes, it's going to be an analog semi-long-range FPV drone that is equipped with an expressionless receiver and is going to be running on a 1S18650 pack that is marketed to be able to allow you to fly a 20 minutes super long flight time. Very impressive if you're just running 1S. Alright, so these are just going to be old informations that you can just AI Google it and it's just going to give you the answer. But in this video, what we are mainly going to be doing is we are going to be mainly testing to see if the flight time is going to be true, and second, how much range you can actually get from this thing. All right, let's just jump into the flight test directly. So the footage you're seeing right now is recorded by my SkyZone 040 Pro goggles. So the condition of this flight has no wind and is fully flown in acro mode. So yes, I'm just going to be confirming with you that the 20-minute flight time is definitely possible directly because yes, I did actually see the marker go above 20. But instead of making you watch the full 20 minutes of flight footage, which I am mainly just going to be circling and doing nothing and it's probably going to be very boring, let's fast forward all the way to the last 3 minutes, which I want you to put your focus on the voltage drop and the performance at the end of the battery life, because that is going to be essential information that I can share with you. So you know, if you're going to be doing long range operation, this is what you can potentially expect at the last 3 minutes of the flight time. Right, so let's fast forward. Okay, so we're going to be pausing the fast forward at about 1700. This is exactly about 3 minutes, the last 3 minutes that we're going to be flying. And also, this is going to be the time your voltage is going to be constantly under 3.4 volts. And also, based on beta flight setting, you are going to be seeing the low battery warning popping up. So at 3.3, close to 3.4, this is still, this range is going to be good for you to start returning to your base, because yeah, this short 1 minute is going to be, yeah, you're going to still get some, you're going to get some sufficient power for you to pull up if you wanted to cross over some obstacles and return home. Going below that, that is going to be when the problems start happening, because you will start noticing that you will have to give a lot of throttle in order for you to even hover. So yep, you can see that we are closing to the 3.2 realm. Yeah, 3.3 is going to be 5. You can see that, yeah, about 1 minute, you got 1 minute. And once it hit 3.2, this is exactly when you will start noticing that your throttle value right now, remember correctly, I'm going to be about 70% on my sticks to even just hover. And then when you try to punch up, when you try to like get additional throttle in order to climb up, you'll feel that it's going to be very jello-ish. It's not going to give you any response. So yeah, pay attention to this when you're at 3.2. And if you have a lot of obstacles to cross over, the best scenario is probably just to land in order for you to not crash in some kind of dense tree whatsoever. You will still be able to retrieve it that way. But yeah, it will suck if you just punch up all the way and, you know, the voltage just drop rapidly and then you get stuck into something that you cannot find. And that will be the most terrible thing that you will probably experience. So at 3.1, yeah, even hovering is going to be very challenging at the moment. You can see that right here, I almost dropped to the ground because I was trying to just maintain my throttle. Even just maintaining it, it is just still going down. I have to constantly add a little bit of throttle in order for me to, like, yeah, you can see that that dip was exactly what I was talking about. It just suddenly decided to drop, and this time my throttle value I think is about 85%. It's just a lot on the top, and I'm intentionally keeping just hovering because I was just kind of looking at the time, waiting it to hit the 20 mark in order for it to just, you know, complete the mission. All right, so you can see that we have hit 20 already, and this is exactly when we're going to be returning to base. Yeah, even a slight throttle push at the moment, you're going to see a voltage dropping rapidly. Just like even that little thing right? All right. After the flight time test, next is going to be range test. Semi-low range should be able to go far, and I know that a lot of people already did some range tests in the open field setting, and it got pretty good result in optimized setting and optimized locations. So definitely, I know that it is doable. And also, there is a video that NBD drone made before, which they flown a 400 meter wide whoop all the way across the San Diego coast. So you know that there's already hard proof right there. And I'm gonna leave the link down below so in case you wanted to go check it out. But most of us live in a kind of dense city area that is gonna have a lot of Wi-Fi interference, and they just don't have time kind of often to travel to optimized locations without interference, and analogs are not really good at that. Express no problem. Video, no good. So in this test, I am actually gonna be testing just in front of my house. I'm gonna try to see how far am I able to go until I'm kind of seeing the snow and break footage and footage breakage, just to kind of have an idea to see how the analog signal is going to be. All right, going directly into the flight test, for range test, we are going to be turning GPS rescue off since I don't think we're going to actually need it. Yep, talking about the settings right here, you can see that we are going to be setting our VTX to the max as usual. And then my setting on the goggles is just basically I'm using the Axi double antenna and also stubby at the bottom are both RACP. Yeah, probably not the best setup for long range, but this is going to be the setup I use for daily purpose. And I kind of just wanted to keep it as is because yeah, there's no point because I'm not going to be pulling a super long antenna when I'm just flying for fun in front of my house. That's going to be looking super weird for people. So yeah, the goal right here is that we are just going to be going as far as possible from this straight line, and I'm having full line of sight to see how good we are able to fight the interference. So each house is going to be generating a lot of interference right here, and also just to know that the way of interference work in kind of my understanding is it's kind of like you're in a room watching TV and you're also talking to a person. So if the TV is too loud, you won't be able to hear another person, and that is basically interference. So yep, either Wi-Fi. So if the Wi-Fi is going to be louder than my VTX output, then I won't be able to get the signal. That's kind of like the idea. So yeah, this is when we're starting to get a little bit of like video breakouts. And for some reason, it looks a lot better in the DVR, but when I'm actually in the goggles, it was terrible. I couldn't see at the time. It was just full of snow. So I think SkyZone was able to like fix it a little bit at the DVR with the mix that they have. So yep, we're just returning to the base, and just to prove that I'm actually standing line of sight, I am going to be standing right there in the arrow section. So even with arrow, like even with line of sight but full of Wi-Fi interference, we aren't unable to get very far. So I think I was searching the Google Maps, and this distance is going to be about 0.4 miles, so it's not really impressive. But yeah, you know, when you're flying an analog quad, you're not going to be asking a lot, especially this is only 800 milliwatts output. If this is a 2000 milliwatts or even something like if this is going to be something like a 5000 milliwatts or something or above, then yes, we could probably go push it a little bit further. But this time, yeah, 800 milliwatts, that's going to be the limit. But just to compare this with kind of like digital, the marker of digital, which is DJI, yeah, this distance is going to mean nothing to it. I think you can even push further all the way down if you even want to do that. So yeah, but that's the reason why digitals are a little bit more expensive, because yeah, they have a lot more better encoding and just a lot more better prone to be able to fight interference. So for talking that, I really wish that NBD drone could release a version of the Lionbee. Instead of using an analog system, they put a DJI O4. That would be super great, and I think a lot of people will actually wanted to jump in because, come on, analog footage are good, but they are not great. DJI, they are just stunning. And even though with the O4 Lite, with just the HD footage without the lines in the videos in your feed, I think that's going to be making a lot of sense for a long-range drone, because people might just want to explore. But anyway, that is just what I think. So yep, that is just going to be wrapping up this short test, and I hope this is actually helpful to help you make decisions. And if you have additional questions, please feel free to leave it down below, and I will just see you in the next one. Bye for now.